What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and this is another mini Q&A number 99. I cannot believe that I'm actually getting up to 100, guys. You guys are awesome for me getting this far and for your great questions. It has been great. I do have a lot of questions, not only on Facebook, but not only on YouTube, but also on Twitter. So I'm going to do my best to get started with these as much as I can, because I know I have a lot of YouTube ones. So let's get started with the Twitter ones. My first set actually comes from Largest. Why haven't you given up on WWE yet like I have? If they went out of business tomorrow, I'd laugh. Honestly, it's not about giving up on them, and it's not about hanging on to anything. It's the fact that I am a wrestling fan. I'm a fan of the wrestling on WWE. It is always spot on. It is always good. They may have botches here and there, but either or, they tell a great story in the ring. There are some matches that actually do tell a great story in the ring. The storylines are garbage, but regardless of that, they do have great wrestling because I'm a wrestling fan. I understand the product is really, really not as great as it should be, but it's not so much the product I'm focusing on. It is wrestling. I like wrestling, and when I do reviews, yeah, they're storyline based, and whether or not the storyline actually goes towards the pay-per-view or towards the character themselves, but that is just me judging the storyline. I am not judging the wrestling at all because the wrestling happens to be good because I am a wrestling fan. That's why I actually do like the WWE still, even though they have really crappy storylines. But still, I'm not really giving up on the product because I do take it's not that I'm hanging on to anything because I do take a break occasionally, and I'm not like I'm giving up on it because, well, I'm not really looking at that. I'm looking at the wrestling. That's just me. But hopefully that answered your question, as weird as that sounded. My next set of questions, and I think I have about 4 of them coming from the Napoleon Guru. I haven't heard from this guy in a year. I'm absolutely shocked that he remembered me, let alone send me any questions. Are we as human beings born into this world for nothing but suffering? No, we all have a purpose in this world. We all have a purpose on this earth. It's just, I consider it more of a discovery to find out, or more of an adventure to find out what our purpose is. But we do. We all have a purpose on this earth. Did Eddie Guerrero die for Mysterio to win the title of life at WrestleMania 22? Honestly, I wouldn't say that Eddie died for Mysterio, but I will say that when Eddie did pass away, it kind of gave Mysterio something to fight for. That was his best friend, and he wanted to literally win the title with him by his side. And I think that was nice, the fact that he kind of did that in honor of Eddie. I thought that was great, and it gave him motivation to actually win the title. But as for Eddie dying for anyone, no, I don't think so. What will the future do to us for our darkness and painful sins, my lady? Do you have darkness and painful sins? That's pretty much the more of the question I'll have for you. Do you have darkness and painful sins? Answer that. Did Eddie Guerrero sacrifice himself to bring joy of the careers to Chavo and Ray? No, I'm not going to say that he sacrificed himself for anything. Unfortunately, Eddie's passing was very sad and tragic, and he left us way too soon. But I don't think he sacrificed himself for anybody. But I will say this. Chavo and Ray did have a good run while they had a good run. I think Chavo now is actually at Lucha Underground. I think Ray may be going there too. They still have very good budding careers in Lucha Libre. So honestly, they're doing fairly well, and I don't think that Eddie sacrificed himself for anything, but I know that he really wanted them to have a great career. That's just me personally, and that are my thoughts. Now, let's move on to the YouTube questions. My first set of questions comes from Justin Side. What if Bray Wyatt was talking about Undertaker, and the WWE decides to swerve fans into thinking that the Undertaker was into thinking it was Undertaker, but at WrestleMania, Bray comes out, calls out Undertaker, the lights go out, and some weird music plays, and out comes Tito Ortiz. Okay, how would the entire crowd react, and how would you react to that mega swerve? Honestly, even if Tito Ortiz came out with his arms crossed, I would be like, what are you doing? This isn't TNA, dude. It don't really work that way. And let's be honest, half of those people may know who Tito Ortiz is, and half those people won't. So I think that'll be a bad idea, a bad call on WWE's mental notion, whatever. I mean, it'll be a really bad call for WWE if they do that. And as for me, man, that's pretty much how I see it. Thoughts on Tito Ortiz? He was a great fighter. I mean, him versus Forrest Griffin was a really great fight. And he's a really good fighter. I'm not sure if he was retired now, but yeah, I like the guy. He's pretty cool. What do you think Goldberg was misused in WWE opposed to his booking in WCW? Yeah, he was. I'm gonna be honest with you. If Goldberg had the proper training that he should have gotten the first time he actually showed up in WCW, he would be a hot commodity. Not to mention, the guy would probably still be wrestling today. But unfortunately, he's pretty much a joke now. So I really don't think that he'll be able to come back. He'll still be loved by a lot of fans, but the whole streak thing was just a joke. But I think a lot of people have forgotten that. But if he got the proper training he should have gotten, things would have been different. But yeah, he was misused a lot. Do you think Nash ending Goldberg's winning streak was the start of WCW's downfall? No. Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians was the start of WCW's downfall. There was a lot of egos, a lot of selfishness going on, and they were so concerned about beating WWE that they didn't think about their own future. That is what brought them down, not about that streak. What did you think of Scott Hall and XPac started getting into drugs and alcohol? That broke my heart. That broke my heart to know that they were actually involved in drugs and alcohol. I never really could imagine XPac doing that. I always imagined XPac as a 1-2-3 kid. Before he was XPac, in my eyes, he was the 1-2-3 kid, which he was an awesome fighter. But in Scott Hall, it broke my heart. I love Razor Ramon. I still to this day love Razor Ramon. And it broke my heart that he actually did, get into drugs and alcohol. I'm happy they're clean and sober now. But you can tell that the drugs and alcohol kind of took a toll on their system. But it really is great that they're clean and sober now. What did you think of Stasi and Chris Candido? Don't have a clue who Chris Candido is, but I love Sonny. I will always love Sonny. Did I say Stacy? I meant Sonny. But either way, I love Sonny. I will always love Sonny. I think that she brought a lot of personality into every single performer that she was with, whether it was a manager or a valet. She just brought out something in all of them. She made them all look good just by standing next to them. That's why I love Sonny for that reason. And she had a great personality and she was a true diva of her day. Did you know that Vader got his eye socket ripped out in a 90s match against Stan Hassan in Japan? Honestly, I did not know that. I really didn't know that, and that sounds very painful. Ugh. Poor Vader, if that is true. What if that happened now with any other wrestler, mainly a female wrestler? That would suck, and I doubt that would really happen now, but that would suck. What did you think of when Bubba Ray put Stacy through a table in an episode of Raw in 2002? Ouch. They did a lot of things back then. I mean, the Dudley Boys were not afraid about putting chicks through tables. I mean, shoot, how many times they put Mae Young through a table? It was just crazy. But yeah, like I said, ouch. And Stacy definitely did prepare for that fall. You can kind of tell. What did you think of Stacy versus Tori's matches in bra and panties? I hated it. I hated every bra and panties, every mud wrestling match, every pillow fight. I hated all those misogynistic wrestling matches that they had for these chicks back in the day during the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. It was ridiculous. I love the Divas now, but I did not like the matches they were in back then. I just didn't. Still don't. Hence why Chyna is always my favorite. I guess that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's go on. Is there a TV show that you missed today? That when it ended in the last episode, your heart was heavy due to the show being so good? No, not really. There really isn't a show for this generation that I really felt that way. The only time that I actually did feel that was probably the Mary Tyler Moore show. And I wasn't even alive when that show came out. But I did see the finale as well as pretty much every episode they did. And honestly, it broke my heart when it ended. I love that show. I really, really did. It brought a tear to my eye when it ended. I no, actually, I take that back. There was one show that I absolutely had a heart that it was like Thursdays never felt the same anymore after this show was gone. And I am talking about The Cosby Show. Sure, the name is mud now because everybody's so all up in arms about Bill Cosby's alleged whatevers, but whatever it is. But that show was great. It really was. It was great. It literally had all families come down and on the couch to watch it. It was fun. It was exciting. It was funny. I loved it. When it ended, it still felt surreal. It felt surreal when it ended, man. And I to this day miss it. I really do. I love The Cosby Show. It's still one of the best shows ever. And it made Thursday nights great. And when you missed a Thursday night and you missed the show, it would suck for you. Because at that time, we had VCRs. We didn't have DVDRs. We had VCRs. If your VCR was not recording and you forgot to turn it on, it sucks to be you. That's all I have to say. You will miss that show and you will not see it again. This was before Netflix. This was before Hulu. If you missed it, that's it. So that was one show that really did bring a heavy heart for me when it did go off the air. That and A Different World. Because A Different World was also good too. And when that show ended too, I did have a heart that was heavy. So yeah, I would say those two shows. Those two shows, A Different World and The Cosby Show. Great question, man. Great question. Did you like Heroes and hated Pintier as the cheerleader? Honestly, I loved Heroes because of Skylar. They had one of the best villains ever in Skylar. Skylar was an awesome villain. Her as a cheerleader, I didn't really care. But she had an interesting, somewhat power. The fact that she couldn't die and she could break her bones and they were all healed instantly, which was an interesting premise. But then save the cheerleader, save the world, that's when I kind of cut out from the show. But I will say the one episode when Skylar went completely dark, the fact that he literally cut her head open and took her paint, I thought that was kind of cool. Seriously, he was kind of the only reason why I would kind of dip and dab in the show every once in a while to see what he was up to. I know that sounds weird and sick and twisted, but he was an awesome villain. I'm not gonna deny that. I love my villains. Did you know that Hayden Panettiere voiced a girl called Carrie in Kingdom Hearts in the Kingdom Hearts games? It's Kyrie or Carrie, I don't know. I don't play Kingdom Hearts because I just don't have the patience for RPGs. I just don't. The only RPG I've ever played was Final Fantasy VIII, and even I didn't beat that because I lost patience. I had no patience to play. My sister loved it and she beat it, but I didn't because I don't have patience for RPGs. I try, I just don't have the patience for it. So no, I didn't know, and I don't play the games. Thoughts on Hayden? She's cool. She's alright. What if Smooth McGroove joined Bray Wyatt to form the new Wyatt family, with Smooth McGroove being Wyatt's Heartless? I don't know what a Heartless is, but let's just say this. Smooth McGroove is a little bit too mellow for Bray Wyatt. But he has hair, so maybe they can pull that off. I don't know. Was Bray Wyatt created from the darkness inside Husky Harris's heart? Good question. Could be. I don't know. Maybe the fact that Husky Harris was tired of not being taken seriously and he kind of went dark. And that was the main reason why he had to go dark, was because that whatever that was, Bray Wyatt started bubbling out. So, who knows? Could be. Have no idea. But that is a good question. That is an awesome question. Great question, man. The next set of questions comes from, and I've said question about 1,000 times, comes from Nintendo Fanboy 1988. What did you think of when Chris Brown beat up Rihanna in early 09? Yeah, that really sucked, and it sucked for his career because his career tanked. This was during the time when Rihanna was pretty much the media darling. Everybody loved her. And the fact that you up and did that really did not you, but the fact that he up and did that really did ruin his career. That really did suck. I never expected Chris Brown to ever go. I never expected him to beat his girlfriend into unconsciousness and leave her for dead. I have never expected that. I didn't think he had anger issues. Never. And that really did make me sad. It made me sad and angry at the same time for the fact that some of the people that came to his aid didn't really act like he had a problem when he did. And these are high profile people, except for Bow Wow. Can't really say that about him anymore. But either or, I will say that the people that came to his aid, come on. That's just kind of jacked up. It really is. If your dude has a problem, if your friend got a problem, and you know he has a problem, help him out. Don't ignore it. That's just me. But yeah, it really did suck. Have they gotten back together? No, they have not. And honestly, Chris Brown's focusing on being a dad, trying to get his life together, and good for him. You know, I'm not going to sit there and browbeat the guy and judge him and say, he should be punished more. No, he's been to jail several times. He's trying to get his life together. The guy paid his dues and he's trying to get his life right. As long as he's trying, that's a good thing. And the fact that he's a dad now, he's going to focus on that. And this is his first child. So we know. But all I know is that he's trying to be a dad. He's trying to keep everything together. And that's good. Even if it works out with that girl, and if it does, if it don't matter because they're not together. But if anything works out, great. But he's trying to work stuff out, so that's good for him. What'd you think of Kim Kardashian bleaching her hair blonde recently? That was a different change. But I do know that blonde is definitely not her color, especially the fact that she's that her hair is lighter than she is. She pretty much disappears with the color of her hair. I really wouldn't expect her to do blonde, but she is a brunette. So I don't know if a redhead if she could actually do red. She could do brown, but her hair is so dark it may not even show up. So the next step to even have your hair, if you want to color your hair, you would have to go blonde. And she chose platinum blonde. Not even a soft blonde. She chose a platinum blonde. That is somebody that wants to be seen a lot. Never really expected platinum, and I'm not a big fan of platinum. Never will be. But yeah, I thought that was a bit extreme, but hey, it's her hair. What about her sister Kylie? Thoughts on her? I know you said slutty, but I didn't want to do that, say stuff like that. But either or, Kylie is a 17-year-old girl trying to find out who she is and where to go from here. All of her sisters are successful, have successful careers, and she's trying to find her place. She's probably in the same shoes that Rob is in, except she's a chick. And she also has a sister that's highly successful and highly known. So that's gotta suck, being 17, not knowing what you need to do, where to go from there. She's trying to find herself. Every teenager goes through that. Every teenager tries to find something or someone that will make them feel like they belong. Maybe she's going through that right now. And that's pretty much all I can say about that. But great set of questions, man. My next set of questions comes from Final Limits and Dude, you sent me a lot. And the ones on Maria Menounos, I will only answer one. You know I'm not really a big fan of hers, so I'm just going to say one question from hers. Thoughts on the whole Bill McDermott controversy and him resigning from the WWE? I'm not a big fan of bullying, so honestly, the fact that he chose to resign is good. But let's be real here. If that letter did not get out on the internet like it did, he would still have a job. I think he probably resigned out of pressure. That's just me personally. Because they don't, well, you pretty much know the whole thing. But honestly, let's just put it that way. If it didn't get out on the internet, it wouldn't be damage control. But at least he chose to walk out. I'll just say that. What if you were the talent? What if you were the talent that he bullied? It would really suck. It really would. That's pretty much all I can say about that. No one likes being bullied. No one likes the idea of being bullied. It sucks and it messes with your mind a lot. It really does mess with your head. So that person being bullied, my heart goes to them. And I hope that they do well wherever they are. Because I don't think they're there anymore, but I hope they do well wherever they are. What do you think of Paige on Total Divas? She's cool. I actually like seeing Paige on Total Divas because it brings out her fun side. You actually have a chance to see her fun side. When she first came, she was the anti-diva. She was brooding, all that other stuff. And she's as awesome as she is in the ring. But I like to see her fun side. I like for her to be outgoing. I like to see her being outgoing. I think it's awesome. I really do. And I still love Paige. I think Paige is great. You still watch Total Divas? Occasionally. I have not been watching it lately. I have been exhausted. But I have recorded it, and I might just go back and actually just maybe binge watch all the episodes I missed. Just like I'm doing with Top Gear right now. But anyway, why did they take out Summer Rae in Total Divas? I wouldn't be surprised that Summer Rae did the exact same thing that Naomi did. Naomi wanted to focus a lot on her career. She wanted to focus on trying to be the top diva that she always wanted to be and being the championship running. So I wouldn't be surprised if she did it for that reason. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is the reason. And be focused more on her career. So that's good for her. Good for her. And your Maria Menounos question, that one question that I will answer is this. If they added Maria Menounos to Total Divas and made the entire show about her, how would you feel about that? I would not be watching it. That's pretty much it. Good questions, man. My next set of questions, good grief, you have sent me a lot. From Lino Gino. You have sent me a lot, dude. So I'm going to just answer what I can. But most of them are about Freddie and Rico. So that's something that you need to give them for their Q&A. But the ones that you sent me about Wiz Khalifa on Raw, I will answer them. Okay. Thoughts on Wiz Khalifa performing high on Raw? It is really not that surprising, y'all. Like, this guy has literally out front and boasted. Well, not really boasted, but he pretty much declared his love for weed. We know he likes weed. And he admitted it on an interview. He will straight up tell you that this guy likes weed. He likes smoking it. So we kind of knew if he was high, it's a given that he was going to be high. I mean, for him doing that performance, he had to have been high. Like, that really wasn't a great performance for him. And I know, and I've actually seen him perform. The one that the CD that he did with John Cena didn't sound that bad. It actually sounded pretty doggone good. But the fact that he was out there on Raw was ridiculous. I mean, I'm like, what? If he was high then, I would not be surprised. And him being there in general was flat out stupid because it's supposed to be a drug-free workplace. Yeah, right. You got Wiz Khalifa on there. I doubt it. I doubt it. What are your thoughts on monkeys and gorillas? What are the difference between them? Are they just regular apes? Okay, that's a very, very far-fetched question. But from what I know, and for those that want to look it up and correct me, fine, put it in the comments. But I will say this. Difference is, monkeys have tails, gorillas don't. Monkeys are smaller, apes are bigger. I would just say that. That's from my own personal view. I am not a zoologist, people. Why did that idiot Vince give that crappy rapper Wiz Khalifa his own show? I have no idea. Maybe he paid him. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's his hometown. I have no idea. But I really wish he did not. Seriously. It was ridiculous. And my final set of questions, my final weird question comes from Lion Low. But I'm not going to say it's weird because it's your question and that's what you like. Great. Did you know I have an armpit fetish? No, I did not. And do I? No, I don't. But not that I really want to know that. But on that note, I will close this Q&A. Guys, thank you so much for sending me questions. And since you guys sent me a lot of them, for the next Q&A, my challenge for all of you guys is this. Send me a maximum of 5 questions. That is 5 questions per person. A maximum of 5. Because honestly, I really don't want to go 20 minutes again. And I don't want to leave out all y'all's questions. So, yeah, send me a maximum of 5. And and like I said before, many times before, you guys know my prerequisites of some of these questions. So I'm not going to go into them again. And if they're for anybody else, do it for their Q&A. But guys, for those questions that were sent to me were awesome. Thank you so much for sending me questions. And for all those that want to continue to send me questions, by all means send it to me via YouTube or on Twitter at RKA30, hashtag NatureGirlQ&A. It's NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.